All right, we're going to try that again. We're essentially restarting this night seven. Well, technically, still the night of court for Vampire's Requiem.
When last we left our intrepid little our intrepid little coterie, they had just had their spaces as hounds affirmed within the court, and had been given several nuggets of information to follow up on in regards to the active blood hunt that is now going on for the blue brood that they are to enact and execute with full prejudice of the law. um, our intrepid Arthur, though, was given a message from Mary stating that the way is now open. And we enter in on wherever Arthur currently is at.
Uh, as I am going to, after court, make my way back to the coven. I'm going to send a message saying, I have a bit of business to do alone tonight, just in case anybody asks. And I will go to the coven to see Mary.
Mary is located at the major grounds for the Circle of the Crown. She seems to be dressed almost like as if in night clothes, but with a mix of older street clothing that's sort of moldering upon her, and her eyes seem unfixed as she looks about until you actually make it onto the scene, at which point her eyes do not waver off of you.
I give her a nod, kind of salute. Hasn't been too long.
It has. You have been searching for the true ways.
Of course, I see no other path before me.
Now, are you ready, though, for what can happen?
I'm probably not even close to ready, but if there was ever a time to begin, this would be it.
Your initiation will begin tomorrow night. You will meet the three, and you will begin to see through the dream and into the reality.
Very well. To as well.
Know this: I will be there, but I will not be there. You will be there, but you will not be there. Everything will be recorded, but it is within everyone's purview. Therefore, there is no real truth to anything, but there is truth to it all.
That doesn't sound confusing or wrong.
Yes. But tomorrow night at the library, I shall see you there.
Very well. I give her a and make my way out.
She gives you a nod, her eyes going from that acute clarity back into a faded seeing through everything, as if what is there has now passed. And now we move on to the next night. Your alarms all going off.
Start rolling.
You're cutting out again a little.
Sorry. As I said, a quick roll via the sound.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that past sorry. I'm sure Nick is
Can y'all
trying to
hear me
do
okay,
something
or?
really important. We just don't know what it is.
Not even close. Can y'all hear?
At the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going on doing roll call to see who's awake.
Fire off.
I mean, Ragtag doesn't respond to what he considers pointless messages. So, are you awake? Are you listening? These are unimportant messages.
You get a picture message back from Alex.
Oh god.
Do you open it?
Dare I ask? Dare I ask?
Do you open it?
Arthur will very hesitantly open that.
It's basically Alex's hand with the middle finger of the bird.
Okay, I thought it was going to be something much worse. He's fine.
No, like I don't. In good conscience, I couldn't bring any of my characters to do something like that, especially to another guy.
Fair enough. We'll put 10 minutes even. Since only Alex responds.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of like yes, like just like with a question mark, like what? Like yes, we're up, and I'm also gonna send out like a text like we should meet up, but you should just say we should meet up.
True. My haven 10 minutes.
You each make your wandering ways through to the Haven of Arthur.
Ragtag will show up in 30 minutes because that's just more amusing.
Alex has to see his company off before he makes his way. So he's gonna be about 20 minutes.
So what are you thinking of doing tonight? Do you want to watch the transfer of and see the interrogation with Loki, or I'd prefer to get whatever is done with the church handled.
I want to get these lances off my back as soon as possible. And especially since we probably pissed off Solomon more than we could. That would probably be a good move.
I just groaned to pull that cigarette.
Is there okay with that?
Well, seeing how one person decided not to show up on time, I suppose we can agree to that.
Alrighty then.
So,
To getting these lances off our back.
so we should probably get information from her, find out exactly where this person is and what exactly she wants done. Just more clarification never hurts.
Plus, we have that whole murder thing over in the what they called the that coterie over way deals on hunting on their territory.
I mean, that's a job you picked up, so.
You're not here. Shush.
Actually, I did say I showed up late. I just didn't tell you guys I walked through the door because I was just obfuscated and went in with Arthur.
Alex's response stays the same.
I do think Alex's job. I do think getting Alex's job is a good free time if we have it, but right now I would prefer to get the church done with. I believe also we might have contact with the werewolves to make, maybe some wizards as well. Those will be.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of.
This is too.
Alex's thing might not be that too far fetched, so since I don't remember before, we're getting shipments of weapons and things of that sort. Could be some skill too, but not even an immediate concern.
You're still cutting in and out. We can pick out most of what you're saying, but I do also agree the weapons are a concerning. We should probably actually then talk to Loki, see if we should handle that tonight or if tomorrow, if we can.
Werewolves, vampires. Too early for this shit.
Actually, meeting with Loki is probably a good first step.
What? I'm just looking confused and tired.
The night is still young.
You just woke up.
I had a busy day.
I don't think you have the strength to stay up during the day, so.
You had a busy night. And I agree, but you don't have a heart that beats. You don't have blood that flows unless it. Many of the things that affect humans, you shouldn't be tired. Assuming you're well fed.
It's psychosomatic.
Alright then. I'm gonna give Loki a call.
Or
I'm gonna give a group.
Loki actually answers the phone on the second ring, and you hear his voice, not groggy at all, more more like as if he's a bit distracted by something, and you can hear another person's voice in the background. And he goes, "Hey, what's up?"
It appears you're in the middle of something. We were just wondering if we could meet up, discuss our next plans of action, and the order we should do them in.
Well, the next plan of action is to start looking into where the brood are coming from and following up on any other information that you guys managed to get. I don't need to hold your hand all the time.
I get that. Just figured we should inform you that it appears there are weapons being shipped into town, and I give the information on the trade district and that area that we got last night.
You're shuffling of the phone, and then look, he goes, "Is that anything to do with you?" Followed by a very muffled no. And then you hear a very familiar male voice saying, "Sounds like a party's going on."
Got the information from...
That's about the arms shipment that you were talking about. You kind of
Yeah.
asked two other people in the background from what you can hear, and they both responded in the negative. Yeah, that might be something to look into.
We also want to get done we owe a favor to the church, and we prefer to get that resolved quickly so it's not hanging over our head. I'm sure you heard about what happened or saw it.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I think everybody in the city saw that. You guys are ones for grand gestures, aren't you?
We don't like to do things halfway.
Nope. But yeah, the vampire who you're owing that favor to definitely would get that sorted quickly, because that could prove to be much more of an issue having that hanging over your head than you realize.
Agree. Hopefully we can get that done quickly and start to do some looking around into these weapons later tonight.
Cool. If you guys need me, I'm going to be a bit incommunicado for the rest of the night. I've got something to speak with the Shadow Prince about and his entire group. But afterwards, if you guys need anything from me tomorrow night, just give me a call.
Will do. You know to get in contact with us if you need us. And then I hang up. Alright, I think we're set to go then.
Lady, what the heck is Ragtag?
I've been like just sitting here not talking.
What do you think, Ray? You haven't...
Fuck.
I think you guys need to quit throwing up red flags every time you walk into a building. That's what I think.
Well, you ready to get in contact with the church? I'm sure she left... I'm sure she gave us her phone number or some contact information for her, right?
Yeah. She gave you her cell phone number, or at least an active burner cell phone number that she's using right now.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot her a quick text. I'm gonna shoot her a quick text. And it's like, we're called what are we called again? Our official name is we're the
Hounds.
Wolves. We're the
Yeah.
Hounds. I'm just gonna do like Hounds free to talk ?
Text comes back, "Yes, anytime. Come see me at my church." And she gives you an address that is a Methodist church out on the south side of town.
All right. I'm dead out then, guys.
You can see her hesitantly walk outside the apartment onto a church. Just get this over with.
Nick,
Well,
I think
let's
you
go.
said something about walking, but then
Yeah. I will lead everybody.
Bloody hell.
All right, so you all find yourselves at the Methodist Church. It's very bare, and slowly seems to just be blending in with the background of everything around it. But the lights are on inside the building, and the door is open, and you can see several people walking in and out. Many of them dressed in sort of their Sunday finest. When you all come inside, the priestess herself is standing at her pulpit, going over some notes. And once she sees you, she motions for the four of you forward.
I assume we all walk forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. We were hoping to complete the job early to open up our schedules to other things, and we were looking to learn what we could of this job and make sure we get it done.
Very good. Well, the handover of our dearly beloved Pope has happened already during the day, handed off by ghouls to the fair prince's holding. I do believe he's going to be interrogated later on tonight by several very high-ranking members of not only the Crone but also a couple of Carthians as well. Given the boon of being a part of the interrogation for part of their own handlings and how everything has happened in their own ways, bolstered by your own actions. But yes, so on to the finer point of business. I have, as I told you last night, a large deal of cocaine that has gone missing from my stash, or at least it's unaccounted for, and the dealer has gone missing and isn't answering any form of communication that has been sent out to him. Now, he normally deals in the center of town and out near the university, and has a small spot as well that he deals with in regards to his dealings out near the wharf. So those are the points where you could start trying to track him down.
The wharf, DM-wise, the wharf is where the guns have been coming in, right?
No, that's the port. That's the actual port. The wharf is an upper scale area of town that's known for high-end restaurants and high-end clothing shops that stay open for quite some time. Think of where the posh rich people go out to have a good time. So,
All right. He seems like he deals in more prestigious clientele.
well, the best way to root out the evils of the city is to be able to look into the hearts of those who think they're righteous and guiding it on a proper path.
Yeah, well, there's some story.
Do you have any information on his... Sorry. You were saying?
Arshis, you were saying something?
No, Alex said to himself, said to it out loud himself, it's been a while since I had poor story.
So are we... Do you have any information on his abode or where we could start the hunt?
Well, those are the two areas that he mainly deals in. As for his abode, he's human, so there won't be any sort of issues if you do decide to go to his house, but unfortunately I don't have that information. Normally I just deal with these street rats as a way of getting out my stuff to look into the deeper sins of the city.
Fair enough. Do you have a picture of him?
She hands over an instant Polaroid. So one of those old plastic wrapped, shake them till they develop instant photos, and hands it over to you. And it's a blonde guy with one ear piercing on his right ear, that has a skull dangling from it, and he's got red shades that reflect in a polarized bit with blonde frosting to his hair that's turned it white at the tips.
Oh,
Pretty
he's the '80s Lost Boy look, isn't he?
no.
He looks a bit like
Alex,
Alex, to be fair.
yeah. Alex, did you see this in character?
Looks like you've got a cousin out on the loose.
Look, Alex glares.
So when we do find him, the main thing you want back is your drugs?
Yes. And the time is ticking on those, as I've only got a couple more days to gather up back that supply before it goes sour.
Fair enough. Do you know any of the people he does dealings with?
Well, normally he deals with the more rich of the student body, as well as some of the city workers who have a bit much in their pocket to be anything on the up and up. But on top of that, he has been known to have a few more executive clientele that are looking for a bit of spice in their life. All in all, well told, he deals with much the upper crust. One particular name comes through to me, though. James Carter, lower end city councilman. But he's possibly still dealing with him right now, but then I can't really tell, because if I can't get a hold of those of that supply, I can't tell where it's going.
Would my rumors skill help me to narrow down this individual any?
Yes, especially if it's part of socialize, it can definitely help out. So you can roll a wits plus socialize plus rumors to recollect any sort of rumors that you know of.
Let's see. Social is under Streetwise, so just a sec. Looks like about 6.
Streetwise will work as well.
Yeah, that's what my rumors was under. So that's 6. Ooh, not great. Just one success.
Given the time of the night, he's more often than not going to be on the wharf eating dinner, potentially with whoever his current flame of the night is going to be. So it might be something to check there.
Okay. Well, if nobody else has anything, I'm headed to the wharf.
Alex is glaring at the Polaroid. I don't look that fuck wet. Oh, God.
I'm going to give her a nod before we head out, but I was like, we'll hunt this guy down and find your
Your
product.
drugs.
Where would you like it delivered when we find it?
I can't have it delivered here, but send me a message to state that you found it, and I'll send a message back on where my ghouls can pick it up from you.
Sounds good.
With all of that said, she then looks at Arthur and gives him a slight smile as she does so.
He has a stern face. He's just like trying to keep it all in.
Come on, Art. Come on. I kind of rest my hand on Arthur's shoulders as I turn to leave and kind of quick squeeze as support as I move out and head out into the night.
Yeah, he's just not talking. He's
Okay.
straight.
So, you guys all heading over to the wharf?
Yeah.
Time to start the hunt.
Yeah. As you all begin to leave, she returns back to her papers once more, shuffling them through before the church bells begin to ring, standing out the nightly mass.
Okay. First of all, can y'all hear me?
About half
Yep.
the time.
Yeah, something's going on with your internet, buddy.
Yeah.
So just get ready to repeat everything you say.
Well, I can probably find this if you guys give me a.
Yeah, didn't understand any of that.
I think he said he could find him if we give him a minute. But on that note, once we do find him, do we think tracking him to his drugs is the smartest thing to do? I think the least contact we keep with him, the better.
Oh yeah, I mean I've already got some leads, so
Oh, excellent. Will that help you, Arthur, find him?
Yeah, that most. Yeah, probably we should focus on use mine as a lab.
You're cutting out bad. I'm sorry.
okay,
Sorry.
since Arthur wants to use this as a last resort, I'm headed to the restaurant that I think the guy is probably having dinner at.
The wharf is a myriad of nightlife and nightlight. Neon lights spraying out across the wooden slats tied together with steel bolting overhanging the Michigan River, the Michigan Lake. And playing out across the waves as they lap up against the stony beach. The area itself is rife with the sounds of 20-somethings and teenagers chatting amongst themselves, even though it's a cold night. They're dressed in very, very tight-fitting, very skin-revealing clothing in the case of the women, and very tight-fitting clothing in the case of the men, showing off contours of bodies and flesh therein. The restaurant in question that you head up to looks to be much more upscale. People going in there are dressed well in a similar fashion to those wandering out across the wooden slats themselves, but much more upscale silks, highly attuned cottons, deeper colors, not the neon flash of nouveau riche and students going to college, but of those of outstanding amounts and sums. Not costume jewelry upon them, but real diamonds and gold. And everywhere the scent of excitement rolling through the air as people stand and gossip amongst themselves. The line to the restaurant is short, and it's capped off by a maitre d' who is looking out amongst the crowd and handing menus over to those who are able to show that they have a reservation, while those who are still waiting for even a table to open up are left to stand outside in the cold, smoking their cigarettes.
What time is it right now?
It's around about 9 p.m.
Okay, so starting of party life and end of dinner life basically is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start hunting around for him, making a perception check.
All right, give me a perception check at -3. So remove 3 dice from your pool.
I'm gonna use willpower.
Yep.
Whoa! That's a really good
Whoa.
roll.
Yep. So yeah, you're able to find him. He is because of his status as a council member, even though he's not one of the higher up ones. You can see him seated at one of the window seats, speaking to a very lithe brunette who is dressed in a burgundy sort of half top tunic that is also acting as a dress that just barely comes below her knee. But he seems to be just sitting there trying to flatter his way into whatever would cordon his clothing for this woman.
Alex grins.
Before we go in, or before we do anything, what are we thinking? Because he might have a connection to him, but he's not. Thoughts?
Well, first things first, we should get in there, get him alone, and then pump it for information. I might be able to help with that.
You guys handle the in public stuff. I will follow him when he leaves.
You should probably let him have fun.
Yeah,
Oh, you're really bad.
Yeah, I know. Coming in and out.
I've got something I've been meaning to try, so it might come in handy in this situation.
We might want to wait until he's not surrounded by mortals, but
Don't worry, it's very subtle.
I still think waiting until he leaves is the smart thing to do here.
Yeah, that's fair dues.
Well,
The real
the
question
thing
is-
is, even if Alex screws up and chases him away, that just means I can follow him. So we really don't have
To
a
be
whole
fair-
lot to lose.
Is this is the James Carter, right? The city councilor, or is this the drug dealer?
This is James Carter, the city councilor.
Okay.
Question: what was the drug dealer's name?
Didn't actually give one. It's Steve Cooper.
Right. That'll come in handy. If we can get him on his own, I can do my business. I can take care of. I can do my thing.
It'll hopefully leave them both intact. Remember, no killing on this job.
Nah. I'm using my other set of skills.
Good. All right.
You got to remember what his other set of skills is, right? I mean,
doesn't
I
work.
don't care. I'm staying outside. In fact, I'm leaving this conversation and I'll walk away.
Give me 1 second. I need to just grab something real fast, and I'll be right back.
Sure. So what exactly is this new talent?
Well, I've been kind of working on my disciplines, and I've kind of improved my majesty.
So what can you do?
It's called revelation. I can make someone spill their secrets.
Perfect. Will they remember?
If done right, no.
Perfect then. Shame we don't have any other fairer sex in our group. This could have smoothed over.
Well, I'm not really one to swing that way, but if he does, I can use my masculine wiles to seduce him as well.
I was more thinking that would be easier if... Never mind. You don't have to do that. Please, actually don't.
Thank God. I'm not really into guys. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not my thing. I'm more interested in that fine piece he's with.
Well, if you get her number, I have no problem with you enjoying her later, but job first.
Yeah, sure. Alex grins.
So, how long are you guys waiting outside for?
Oh, we're not waiting outside. We're gonna
let
Kinda-
Alex go in and do his thing.
Well, we're gonna wait until he... How into the meal are they? Does it look like they just got there, or finishing up?
It seems like they're in the middle of it, so the main entrees have come out.
Okay. Is there anywhere around where one of us could sit and keep an eye on him? See, now I got a good lock on him. I can just...
There are a few benches out on the wharf where you can see in. They're not exactly cast in full light, but somebody would be able to tell that you're sitting there for if they were one to pay attention to that for any long period of time.
Covert surveillance is not really my strong suit. I kind of stand out.
Is there a roof on the other side? Is he near the back of the restaurant, I'm guessing?
No, he's right at the front. There isn't a roof on the other side because it's just open Lake Michigan on that side.
Does it go to a beach or a stone, like, goes to a walkway at the edge?
At this point, because it's actually further along the wharf, it goes out to Lake Michigan directly. If you pull back about a few hundred yards and then come along, it is a stony beach on that side, but you wouldn't be able to see or make out anything that's being done within the restaurant, even from a window seat.
All right, I'm gonna... I think we should probably take shifts to keep an eye on him. I'll take first, just kind of relaxing her and kind of checking my, like, looking like I'm looking at my phone, or actually looking stuff up on my phone as I keep, like, an eye on him in the restaurant. Or do you have something else in mind?
Ragtag just fades away and stands where he can watch. Because
Sounds good.
I got like 6 successes on that, so...
Alex is gonna go to a group nearby. A group of party goers nearby is joining a group smoke.
There's not very many people that are standing in large groups. It's much more smaller, intimate, sort of 1 to 2 person groups, given the high end of this restaurant. So as you come up to one group of 2 people, both of them sort of look at you and give a questioning eyebrow raise as you come up to them.
you got a light? I fucking forgot mine, didn't I?
The guy kind of looks at you for a moment, and then he pulls out a a small flick Bic lighter and hands it over to you.
Cheers. And he's gonna make a small talk while he's having his fag. That's to try to keep an eye on the group.
You're able to make small talk for a small time. The meal itself that this guy that the counselor is having with this woman is taking on quite a while as he's trying to smooth his way in with her. He's from what you can see of his body language, he's definitely trying to flatter his way in with her, but you can tell that she's very bored by now and is sort of getting to the point of, I just need to suffer through this.
Carter is kind of away from it, like not keeping an eye on, but kind of close enough that he can get involved if he has to. So around a corner or something like that where he can relax quietly.
During the small talk, do you think Alex could pick up what type of people he's talking with?
They're sort of nouveau riche kind of people who are pretty much like, we've got cash and we like to flash it around. So the more that you talk to them, the more that they catch on to sort of your mannerisms, they're sort of recognizing the fact that there's a distinct class difference between you and them.
And Alex is kind of used to this classist mentality because he is from England, and he goes, he's just rolling with it and goes, well, thanks for the light.
And they sort of wave you off and completely pay you no mind as you walk away from them.
Knobs.
All right, what are you doing, Alex?
Alex is a social butterfly, but he's kind of out of depth. He's like more of like underground club sort of guy, and he's trying to figure out what to do. And like, there's one thing springs to mind, and and if anyone's watching, Alex is starting to think. So he's going to do what he does best. And he's going to make things
Make
really
a fool of
awkward.
himself?
Yes. He's going to try and cut this short and seduce just play the bad boy and seduce them. Try and seduce the woman.
The woman of the two people that he was just talking to?
No, the woman that the governor's talking to.
You're going to have to get past the maitre d', so how are you going to do that?
See here.
As you're coming to move into the restaurant, the maitre d' stops you and goes, "Sir, do you have a reservation?"
And in response, he uses a blood point and casts and uses awe on the maitre d'.
All right, make the roll.
They go for 2 seconds, and Alex takes charge.
I've been waiting for him to do this since I went off to stand in the shadows.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. You get those full 7 dice to your to your next social check against this guy.
Wow.
I'm sure that you can free up a spot for me. I'm just waiting for a mate who.
Sort of wrinkles his nose a bit at the word mate, but he goes, "Who would your acquaintance be, sir?"
Alex tries to eye up the things and uh oh god damn it! Don't you hate when the name leaves you? You try to remember a name and you completely forget it.
Arthur's
fucking
gonna
hell.
pass by and whisper silently into his ear, James Carter.
Carter.
Kata?
Carter.
Which Carter, sir?
Governor. Carter.
Oh, James Carter. Well, he is a bit indisposed at the moment, but if you say that he is already waiting for you, then do head in, but do please be very careful.
Always. He gives Mitchie a wink and walks in.
Maitre D actually looks a little bit flustered as you give him a wink before he smooths himself back out and goes back to dealing with those in line. And it's not in the normal sort of aggravated, flustered way that most people deal with with Carter. And this is more like he winked at me.
The way most people get flustered around Alex.
Yeah.
Right, how to play this.
All right. So you make your way up to James Carter and his very lithe and lovely dinner companion. And as you come up to their table, James just sort of stops for a moment on what he's saying and looks at you a bit perturbed, very much in the way of, who the hell are you and why are you standing at my table?
Alex is going to not pay him any attention and turns to the woman. That it might not be my place here, but I was walking by and you looked absolutely bored out your mind.
Can I just say right here that you're sitting in the middle of us having dinner?
Well, he ignores her. I thought I might be able to give you a reason to bail on this boring piece of garbage.
Yeah. As you continue talking, Carter actually stands up, goes over to the maitre d' and requests security. At which point, Carter is now starting to head back with two guys in very dark black suits with matching dark dead eye sunglasses.
Lord.
Good God.
Not again.
He's dug himself into this hole. He can dig himself out. I'm not.
Yeah. Alex grins. Alex grins. Alex grins because he's kind of used to these sort of situations. And he goes, it seems that the guy you're with was being a little irritated by my giving you a better option. So, last
Well, looks wise, it might be the better option, but I don't think, in terms of handling the delicacies of a woman's hand, that you are the better option.
oh, you'll be surprised how delicate my handling can be. He grins.
She gives you a wise smile at that, and she just goes, maybe another time.
Right, well, time to get my ass thrown out of this place. Until then, and at this point, he gets dragged out.
Yeah, the security guards aren't even like all that cordial about how they do it. They just wrap their arms underneath your elbows, underneath your armpits, and then they start dragging you behind them before they throw you physically out of the restaurant.
Alex lands with grace and takes a bow.
At which point, both of them just kind of stand there by the sides of the maitre d', just staring at you after dusting off their hands, and then keep them clasped at their waist right in front of them, pulling the entire power pose of just try it.
Ragtag,
Like
from
Alex,
his shadowy vantage point, just yells out, "I believe I had a hat."
Alex grins. Like,
Arthur writes down on a notepad the number 9 huge and shows it to Alex.
Well,
Nine?
after he wanders away, hopefully, I'm going to intercept him.
About 5 minutes after that, a very flustered and annoyed James Carter comes out, not even having finished his dinner, now smoking like a chimney as he mutters to himself and starts dialing on his cell phone.
And that's where
how
Ragtag's
far?
going to come in. I'm just going to get as close as I can without being seen.
Can you give me a stealth check? Because you yelling like that actually broke your obfuscation.
Do I just need to use obfuscation again, or is this
You
outright stealth?
can do it again. If you're keeping to the shadows, use your full 1 plus 1 extra dice from what I told you about earlier.
Okay. Just a sec. Gotta bump that up a little bit then.
Whoa.
5 successes.
Once again, Ragtag is just melding in with the shadows, and nobody's mind's eye can see him at all.
Just me and my shadow.
So yeah, I want to get, like I said, as close as I can without breaking that, to listen in or even try to see like who he's calling.
He's calling for a cab, and he's actually quite pissed off as he does so. Before he turns off, once he's made the request for the cab, he turns it off and continues walking towards the mouth of the wharf where it goes out onto the street, puffing away at a cigarette in absolute frustration.
Okay. Well, I'm just
Yeah,
his new
Alex is
shadow, so
I'm going to call I'm going to call Alex quickly on the phone.
What's up, motherfucker?
Did you learn anything or just get yourself thrown out?
Well, I did what I needed to do.
Did you learn anything or just get thrown out?
Maintain his reputation.
I was trying to get him on his own. Best way to do it, cause him to get flustered and stuff like that, and it worked. He's on his own, and now I'm going to go do what I meant to do. And he follows, waits for the right time to catch him on his own. Carter on his own.
Burn willpower for this is what I recommend if you.
believe it or not, I have 9 dice in Revelation.
Burn willpower for this.
Listen to the man.
All right.
When
Quick
Alex,
question: would Ragtag see you trying to follow? Because he will send out a quick text if he needs to.
Alex is not stealthy in the slightest.
Okay. So Ragtag is very quickly trying to send and I think for him this is almost like a pre-built-in. You hit this message and everybody it goes straight to everybody. But Kyle, let me know if that would be done or not. Which is, stay back. I'm on this.
Yeah, that can be done. It is able to be done on 2005 phones. Mass text messaging was a thing. So
Well, I
that does
figure
have
we
to
kind of got a group message system going already, and whatever the code needs to be.
and an AOL chat room.
Now, I mean,
An
that doesn't
IRL.
mean he has to pay attention to it. It's just if Ragtag sees him coming, he needs to let him know that he's got this.
All right. If Ragtag has sent that message and I'm seeing it, I'm gonna touch Carter on the shoulder and say, "Hey, guard me while I do my thing," because apparently Alex failed surprisingly.
Alex didn't fail.
Shocking.
And I will
Alex-
walk into the closest thing to a more or less abandoned dark alley of some sort, where I can probably do my ritual without rich people going nuts that I'm drawing blood.
All right.
I am going to do a quick look to make sure there's no security cameras for him, but besides that, just keep an eye, watch his back as he does his thing.
There are a few security cameras in the area, but Arthur manages to find an alleyway that's not covered by one of them to do his ritual. All right. Alex and Ragtag, what are you guys doing?
I mean, I'm following James.
As is Alex.
James is standing right at the side of the road waiting for his cab, smoking like a chimney. His entire body language, that of a very pissed off person who seems to be like as if they've just been shown up, and he's not liking tonight at all.
All right, so Alex has already said that he doesn't play this stealthy at all. So I do have one more question. Based on the resources that Ragtag has, would he have any sort of GPS tracker that's small enough he could try to slip onto this guy?
No, that's like a resources 3.
Okay.
You've got how many resources?
2.
Yeah,
But
no.
in that case, I mean, I can't say anything to Alex without revealing myself. So I'm just gonna try and stay close to him physically then.
Alex, as you're walking up, this guy catches sight of you and he is pissed.
Alex grins. Hey, no, I meant, mate. I just saw a beautiful lady and took my chance.
Oh, you're just one fucked up little limey bastard now, aren't you?
Well, I've been called worse. He grins. And as he gets closer, his hands up in the air. I do have one question for you.
Oh yeah.
And at this point, he hits with revelation.
Make the roll.
I'm burning a willpower.
All right.
Lord.
Ooh, you got 4 successes over his 2. So you've got 6 successes in total, but with his threshold being 2, you've gotten 4 over it. So it's not a critical success, but you do have a success nonetheless. So ask your question.
Our character, what was the drug dealer's name again?
Stephen Cooper.
Tell me what you know about Stephen Cooper.
He's my dealer because he does cocaine. Last hit him up earlier tonight in order to be able to have something for tonight's little party, which he fucked me over on.
Where can I find him?
He pulls out a piece of paper and he writes down the number and he hands it to you. There's his number.
Cheers. He takes the number. Pleasure. And Alex walks off.
As you walk away and the effects of revelation begin to fade, the guy's face goes from anger to puzzlement, and then to just straight out disbelief. Like, did I just do that?
Alex sends back a text. Told you I got this.
What did you say Alex does now?
Alex texts the group. Told you I had this.
And you're just kind of leaving him, just kind of dumbfounded, like, the fuck just happened?
Yep.
All right.
Well, I don't know if he got the info, so I'm still doing my thing.
Well, you would have gotten the text, right?
Yeah.
All right. Arthur, do you want to give me the roll for the ritual?
Sure. And I will burn a willpower this time.
This is the first time I've actually used willpower.
Nice.
Finally, a good roll.
Yeah. You know that this guy is about 4 blocks away from you right now in an alleyway.
Right. As I finish the ritual and throw the cup onto the floor, I'm like, I got him. Let's go.
I nod, kind of quick text everyone. It's like, we got his location. Let's go.
Alex looks at his paper and goes, "Fuck's sake, what the?"
I took the shortcut.
Alex says the TikTok Arthur, dickhead.
Keep the number. We might need it.
This is true.
So is everybody coming back together to go find our dear Stephen Cooper?
Yep.
Yeah, I would have once I got out of the ritual state, I would have sent everybody a message saying exactly that.
Yeah,
like I got his location.
And you got a response from Alex saying, "Calling you a dickhead." One of Alex's. One time Alex actually makes a plan and it actually works.
Well,
quick question: when
Arthur saw you getting literally thrown out of a place, yeah,
this is one of Alex's plans. So he's sticking to his strengths, making a fool of himself, getting people riled up, and then using the confusion, aggravation to do his thing.
sure. Okay, so
Alex is pretty much chaos incarnate, so
I actually think he's pretty controlled to be chaos incarnate.
So what are we thinking when we get to him? You pull your thing again, get the information we need, or are we just following him tonight?
I should have enough. I should have enough in me to do it again.
How about we try so that we don't leave a trail of weird goings-ons? How about we just do it plain and simple without any supernatural effects on them, just by socialization?
I could threaten him. If
persuade him, deceive him, and trying to avoid any disciplines.
If you mix your discipline with my threats, would it be easier or harder? Because if we mix it into fear as him telling the truth.
Well, I could have him. With my disciplines, I can basically. It's not so much effect; it's more I actually secrets out of them. I mean, I could put him in a state of awe, but that's about it.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a way for us just not to even to socialize with him. I just need to just find him and look at him. And there's a chance I can just, in a way, get certain visions as to where the cocaine is. It's a long shot. Again, it's like a last resort, but we might not even need to interrogate him.
For interrogation, I could just simply ask him.
If that fails, I would say we could use that first. If all else fails, I would probably say we do the mortal socialization thing. Because we already have one dumbfounded human, right?
So why don't you try yours first? Then we lead to yours. Why don't we try yours first, Arthur? Then we go to Alex. And then if worse comes to worse, I can rough him up as Alex tries again. Sound fair?
Yep. Ragtag, tap on the floor if you're okay with that.
Actually, I had a question for our storyteller. When James Carter said that he had already contacted Cooper, did it sound like he had already picked up his delivery, or was he going to pick it up?
He had already picked up his delivery.
Okay. So in that case, I don't need to follow this guy. So I will just reappear and I can say, just tell me where the guy is and I'll go follow him.
Arthur starts walking towards where he knows the guy is.
Okay.
Follow me.
Arthur, from your ritual, you're able to guide everyone directly to where he is, or at least as you come upon him in the alleyway, where his body is, lying down on the ground in a pool of its own blood. A nearby pack sitting down there, but his chest has been flayed open, and his rib cage separated out. And it looks like as if something has been pulled out of him, and his face is missing.
Shit.
Oh,
Are we
fuck
sure
me.
this is even the guy without a face? I mean, I can't do dental
the
records.
Guy I saw. Do you
Does he
think
have
we
the
have
earring?
time for forensics at this point? God damn it.
Does he have the earring?
Is he alone?
Yeah, he's alone. He's on the ground, pretty much spread out, arms akimbo, chest split open in a Y incision with his ribs cracked open and spread out, blood all over the place, his face missing, but his sunglasses are there right next to his body.
Does he still have his ear?
There is still an earring on the ground as well.
I will go ahead and just start checking his pockets for phone, ID, anything that might be useful to us.
Alex
I'm
takes the
going
sunglasses.
I'm going to use heightened senses to see if I see any sort of track, mark, around to see if
You're gonna investigate the crime scene.
yeah, in, in whatever small way I can.
I will help.
It's just looking for anything that my senses could detect about at least where his assailant went.
All right, give me Tyler. Give me
Yes.
a wits plus investigation roll first. Your number of successes will then translate into added die onto Arthur's roll.
So I'm using a willpower, so that's 6 in total.
Yep.
Every
So-
bit counts.
Tyler, do your wits plus investigation plus crime scene if you have that. That specialization, plus your auspex, and then plus 1 die.
Okay, so aspects, wits plus investigation. You said.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't have that specialty. So that'd be 3, 2, 5. Aspects is 2. That's 7 plus 1. That'd be 8. Come on. Oh shit. 1.
Yeah, this was a clean kill. It is really clean. Surgically so. The only thing that you can really tell is that whoever did this, the only signs that they have left behind is the actual body, which is so surgically precise in its cuts. It's scary.
Well, I can almost guarantee this is kindred.
Unless it's a werewolf.
Werewolves don't outright kill people.
And if it was a werewolf, he would be chunks of meat instead of this surgical work.
Yeah.
Is there a ritual you could do with what they took? Looks like they took his heart and his face.
His heart is there. It's something else seems to be taken.
What of the little that I know about human anatomy, because Arthur's not a doctor, can I try to see what they took?
I'll also either assist or I have 2 in medicine and 1 in intelligence, so only 3. But I'll burn a willpower on this.
Okay, then I'll probably assist Carter on.
This is going to be a wits medicine roll because you're doing stuff on the spot. It's not like as if you're looking back on it and giving a more detailed search. You're just trying to see what's missing right there.
Nice.
Holy crap! Yeah, there are no organs missing that you can tell, but there is something off about how the body itself feels, like as if there is something definitely missing from the body besides what's been taken in regards to the fact that the guy's entire face, scalp and all, has just been peeled off with surgical precision to the point to where you can still see the cartilage of his nose taking the shape of his nose. But yeah, no, this guy is dead and gone, and this person just cut him open and took something out, but there's no sign of whatever the hell it was that was taken out being anything that was like actually something put there. It's like as if it was just something of the human body that's not recognizable to you having been taken.
I share this with the group.
Do you think it's possible it's another human? I've met some pretty fucked up guys in my time, so it could not be kindred. It could actually be another human.
Could be, but
This does not seem like something, maybe a wizard, but it's only kindred and wizards that would do something like this.
You would be surprised. You have you ever seen some of the serial killers out there? They fucking make us look relatively tame.
I am just going to let you know, there are quite a few serial killers that were kindred, and they just placed evidence to get somebody else and broke their minds. That's happened before.
You know.
Right.
Ragtag just starts
Um,
going through what is on his person at this point.
There is nothing left on his person. There is a big black duffel bag next to his body.
Yeah, I was
has
gonna ask about that. I want to search that duffel bag.
Wait,
I'm
be
taking the duffel
careful.
bag.
If it's
No,
trapped,
I'm already
just
opening
keep
it. Like this is
Alex steps back.
Check for traps first.
Arthur does not know about traps.
Does it?
He checks the contents of the duffel bag.
There is just a few large bricks of cocaine.
We got a party, boys. No, just kidding.
Did she?
Um,
She gave us an estimate of the size of the amount of stuff that was taken, right?
Yeah, it was about 4 kilos worth of cocaine.
And does this look
Is
like 4
this-
kilos?
Yep.
How
Okay.
cold is this body? Like, how long ago has it died?
From your medicine roll, you can tell that he's not been dead more than half an hour.
God damn.
All right.
Okay, we're on the street. Is there like any sort of surveillance
We're not out.
cameras across the street or anything?
Now you're in an alleyway. There are no surveillance cameras.
Well, I mean, like at the beginning of the alleyway, anything that I can use to, track something down.
Nope.
All right.
Well, we need to call this in.
This-
Who's the proper authority? Because this is definitely. I'm getting the feeling this is not a natural kill.
What?
Well, I suppose we call Loki. Like,
No, we already were told that he's out of pocket tonight. So
Yeah, Loki's out.
Okay, so I'm not going to search the crime scene, but I'm going to check the walls. Because if this was a Kindred, it's possible they climb here. Do I see any evidence of anything climbing into this area? Like claw
Nope.
marks? Okay.
No. If this was an assassination, this would be like the guy at the grassy knoll, but nobody even knew he was there to begin with. Or even had any evidence of him being there. This is the perfect clean kill.
Question. So this might be a bit of a reach, but has me as Arthur heard of any in his occult studies heard of any group of people or any sort of ritual that requires essentially a pristinely cut face with scalp to be done, like as a type of material component needed?
And
Give
can
me
I
a-
add? And can I add in the fact that something was like no organ, no nothing. Like, is the body empty of blood? Is there no blood on the ground or something?
There's blood on the ground, but
Drink up, boys.
it just feels like there's something missing. And
soul.
It's a corpse, but would that account for it?
Like, assume like Alex running, but is there any way to take a soul?
Well, yeah, we found a way. The phylacteries, remember?
Like you mentioned that something was missing, but you couldn't figure out what.
It's uncanny. Something's definitely gone.
Could it be his soul?
well, I'm pretty sure that's already gone.
That could. Well, yeah, of course, he's dead.
I'd be more
But
concerned if
it-
his soul was still here with us.
Sure. Is there any
Well-
ritual you know of that might account for this?
give me
I
a
was
witch
waiting for
plus
Kyle to
occult
talk.
roll plus rituals.
okay. The only specializations I have are divination and witchcraft. I don't think any of those apply.
No, those don't.
So wits occult. Okay, so wits occult is 7. Come on. We're still going with that 1.
Nope. There are just too many that deal with such with blood sacrifices and sacrifices of people to really make any head nor tails of who could have actually done this.
Yeah.
You need access to the library, I think. But who do we call in for cleanup and just kind of, hey, this is clearly not we don't think this is a natural kill. Like, is there a proper process to this?
You could pass it off to the cops, just giving an anonymous tip that there's been a body found in the area. You could also give a call over to Persephone and just ask her what the normal procedure for something like this is, because this is, if you're having a major issue like this, thinking that it is not a natural, humans did this kill, then yeah, she might be able to set up something for cleanup, given the fact that you are Hounds of the City, and therefore, if you guys request it on as part of keeping the masquerade, it would be done under hush hush.
Is there
And
is there anything that, from my investigation background, has there ever been a murder like this before?
Yes, there has. From your from your previous works and stuff in investigatorial areas, there has been one other kill like this about 10 years ago.
All right. Do I have any? Is there anything I can apply to that other than just it was like this? Any suspects? Any rumors to go on?
Nothing. It was from what you remember in all the investigations and everything. Everybody thought that it was an occult killing just because it was so exacting, or it was a serial killer who had medical training, but there was nothing else that could be followed up on it.
Okay, then I'll just kind of pass that on to everybody and say there's no reason to think that this is in our domain because it happened 10 years ago. It'll just get passed off as some serial killer who was strolling through town back on his normal circuit.
When did that Maquette Deva massacre over in Chicago, in Detroit, happen?
That was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Well,
I thought it was a lot longer, but
ring Persephone, then we'll get.
Yeah, I'll give her a call. I'll give her a call and say, no, you're busy, but we just found what seems to be a kindred killing over here, doing our part of the deal with Sylvia. We need a cleanup crew.
How many bodies?
1. Does face ripping murder sound familiar?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'll get our police on payroll and get the body set up into the morgue, with something going through into the papers that will keep people from looking into it further. But thanks for this.
No worries.
Well, I realize that I already have the eidetic memory, but I'm still going to, snap a few photos for references later on. And then I'll just tell the others, all right, drop the drugs off and let's get that job taken care of.
Should we tell her?
Well, I assume that...
Yeah, we have to tell her. Because, she's going to be sending bloodhound. She's gonna be sending her own group to find him, and etc. 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 Besides, if Persephone is gonna bring some cops to clean up this mess, we have some way to prove that we're
Okay.
not lying our asses off.
All right, I'm gonna send her a text of we got the drugs, but there's been a complication. If you want us to talk to your ghouls, we can, but we do have to tell you something.
As soon as you send over the text and you say, and you send over that, you get a call on your phone immediately from her.
I'm gonna answer it.
Complication?
Steve Cooper's dead, and it wasn't by our hands.
Well, shit.
Somebody removed his face and took something from him. I don't know. It
It's
feels like
all-
something from the body is missing, but it's not an organ or blood or something like that.
Alex is adamant that someone took his soul.
Yeah.
We can send you photos if you want, but a cleanup crew is on their way.
Send me the photos. I need to see this. I'll be there for the pickup of the drugs. Thank you very much for this.
All right, we.
Did you have her on speaker, or do you need to actually tell me to send over the photos? Because I mean, I'm going to. I just need to know.
No, I'll let you know to send over the photos.
Okay.
And with that, tonight's game ends. As things begin to come into messy, messy investigations.
Aren't I going to visit the library?
You will. You'll do that tomorrow. I just
Yeah,
I
I
just
know.
need to figure out what's going on with my desktop. That way I can get everything sorted with regards to that for next session,
Yeah, no
because
problem.
that's got all my notes for the library.
I have to
Alex,
change my digital dice apparently because they only roll one success.
That was very painful to watch those rolls. It's like, oh, here 10 die. None of them.
Yeah, on this side as well. I'm like, yes, 8 die. Yes, 7. 1. 1. Dear Lord.
Well,
Either I
everybody,
roll really high or I just roll 1.
Alex should have got to show his wits and cunning.
want to thank everybody who joined us in the stream tonight. We'll be back hopefully next week with the Expendable Crew if, we don't have 4 people suddenly hurt their backs all at once. And we'll be back in 2 weeks picking up with whatever these guys are up to and that Raghag is just getting drug along for. So, we'll see you then.